humbled to be the one taking this profile today, really. Mr. Dave is currently the chairman and managing director of Eldin Consultants Nigeria Limited. I mean, if I don't even speak from my head or from my mind, is been an executive director in various organizations, but notable among these organizations is Investment One, which is formerly known as GTB Asset Management Limited. He serves on the advisory board of a lot of companies that I might not be able to list today, but also I would also mention that he's worked with Chevron for 24 years prior to his current expressions, where he currently works, and also serve on various boards. Is a graduate of industrial mathematics. So just be aware, I mean, this is a mathematician we're going to be talking to today. All the numbers would add up and it's a balance. Beyond that, is also a holder of a degree in computer science. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Computer Society. He has multiple masters in HR from Michigan University in USA, and he also has a certificate in supply chain management from Arizona State University. Beyond all of these certifications, I can tell you that Mr. Dave is a core businessman, and we've seen, I mean, practical results from his business acumen. I would hand over the mic, the virtual mic to him, and he will take us in this conversation. Thank you, Mr. Dave. I think you're mute, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much, Faith. I didn't know you were going to talk so much about me. Maybe I would have prepared. Maybe I would have prepared more than this because, anyway. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity given to me to talk on this platform. I'm really very happy. And I'm excited about the topic we are talking about today. Resourceful is the ultimate resource. So I'm going to be talking about how to find money to fund your dreams. Most of us, we all work and work and work. We want to remain a salary earner. And because of that big salary they give to us, which I call the golden handcuff, many of us don't want to venture into anything outside, which is not the best. You'll have to find out that no company pays you to be rich anyway. All the salary they pay you is just for you to enable to come to work. They can't pay you to be wealthy. Almost company owners are capitalists. I think I own companies too, so I can attest to that. They pay you just salary. So we're looking at how do we gain financial liberty or freedom to fund our plans and dreams. If I ask, can someone really gain financial freedom to fund their plans in this present economy? I don't know whether anybody can answer that, whether it is true. I will say yes, because it doesn't mean you have to solve all your problems and have excess, but it's all about getting the money to fund your plans and dreams, to have a purposeful and relaxed life now and in the future. That's after retirement. Many of us dream that retirement is a death sentence. No. Early to bed, early to rise is the way you plan your retirement. That is what it's going to be. I advise people that the very day you join your company, you should start planning for your retirement. That's what I did in my own case. The very day I joined the company is when I started planning for my retirement. And I have my letter of retirement or disengagement written, and it's on my desktop, so I can date it any day and submit it. So retirement is a time for you to live a good life, and it's very, very important. It is all about planning. Napoleon Hill says, "Not planning is planning to fail," and any plan without resource amounts to nothing. So when you plan, you must look at the resources you are going to use to fund the plan. The thing is that knowledge is key. I thank God we are going through this series of talk. Knowledge is key. Knowing what to do and where to go for the funds. That is very, very key. The Holy Book said, "My people perish due to lack of knowledge." But thank God we are exposing ourselves to this discussion. So you need to front load your plans financially for your plans to work. If you don't front load it financially, it will never work. One thing that I look at is that why are people always willing to invest in other people's success, but not our own? You know, most people I know are always willing to spend money on other people, especially their children and relatives. Some even go as far as borrowing money to help others. But when it comes to helping their own, they are reluctant. I was one of them. I think I'll say God delivered me from that syndrome. And I was able to start funding, helping myself. So when it comes to spending money to help develop ourselves, we'll just drag our feet. I don't know. I'm not sure of the answer why it is that. But I look at it that most people are kind of scary about it. They want to help others. But I know when you try to focus on yourself, things will go very well for you. Before I list out the ways to fund your dreams, to find money to fund your dreams, you know, money is a certificate of performance. I think we all agree that money is problem solved. Money is problem solved. If money is problem solved, which means money is simple to make. It's easy to make money because money is a certificate of performance. Money is what you get when you solve a problem. Somebody is thirsty, you give the person drink, so you will get what you need to do. So that money is an enabler. It's a certificate of performance. So money comes when you meet a need or satisfy a need. And when you look around you, everywhere, you will see problems to solve. And remember, when you solve that problem, money comes. So money is easy to make. And I've not seen anybody who solved a world problem without becoming very rich. You can ask Microsoft man about it, Bill Gates. You can ask Mike Zuckerberg, and all those people who have solved problems, they all became millionaires. So let's not think about it that money is very difficult to make. It's easy to make because when you solve a problem, you get money. What is a bit difficult is a quantum. How big the money you are making, that's how it's a bit difficult. But I tell you one thing, if you plan well and front load your plans financially, you will definitely arrive at the destination that will make you more comfortable in life now and after retiring from your work. I'll quickly look at 7 ways you can fund your dreams. The first one I always tell people is savings. To fund your dreams, you have a dream. You want to be a graduate. You want to be this. You want to be an entrepreneur. Our sole aim for all of us here is to be an entrepreneur, to become an employer of yourself, an employer of labor. Because do not want people to employ you, to be using you. Deploy your talents as they have been given to you so that you put into use. The first one I will talk about is savings. You know, if you have read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, they say what rich people teach their children that poor people don't teach their children is about savings. You don't have to wait until you start earning millions before you start saving. I always tell people that after you, those of you who are Christian, after paying God tithe, that you should pay yourself tithe and invest it. Let's look at it this way. If you are saving 1,000 naira every month, at the end of the year, what do you get? You get 12,000 naira. But I know let me extend it this way. If you are saving 10,000 naira every month, at the end of the year, you are going to get 120,000 naira. And if you save that for 5 years, you know what you are going to get? You are going to get a big money. Saving is very, very important. I remember in those days, what I did in the late 70s when I was teaching, I was trying to save money to go to. My dream is to become a graduate. And coming from a poor background that my parents didn't have money, I have to teach after graduating from secondary school in 1978. I have to teach, and I was earning 100 naira. I made it a point of duty that they pay me 98,000 naira, 98 naira after 100 naira, I'm sorry. Then I must save 50 naira every month. And when Shagari increased it in 1979, when he became a president, to 150 naira for level 4, I was saving 75 naira every month. And at the end of 3 years, I was able to save 1,700 naira. And in those days, if you go to university, you can't spend more than 500 naira in a year. Accommodation is 60, you eat 3 meals a day, that's 270. So I was able to save that to be able to get to the university. So saving is very, very important. I know what studies are reviewed nowadays that the millennial children, the younger ones, they have the least amount of saving. They are not interested in saving than they are unlike the older generation. That makes sense because of if you study the characteristics of the millennial children, you find out that their lifestyle and their interest is not what those of us who are the XYZ generation and the baby boomers kind of think about. But saving is very important, and it plays a very integral role, a very important role in funding your business. Most people, like in the States, they do retirement savings. You can borrow from your retirement savings to fund your business. But I know in Nigeria, the retirement savings, you cannot borrow from it. But we'll talk about valuable opportunities for you to borrow money to invest into to secure your future. So I tell you that if you develop the attitude of saving, no matter what you earn, it's going to help you fund your dreams in the future. The second point is partnership. Just develop the idea and look for credible partners. There are people out there, there are rich people out there who have money, and they're looking for creative and innovative ways, ventures they can put their money in to get returns. I give you an example. My current partner, had an idea of, he saw a problem in our community that they have palm kernel, and there's nobody getting this, selling it, buying it. So he came to me that he had this idea that, and he doesn't have money to start buying palm kernel and bring it to Lagos to sell. That if he can get 100,000 naira, 1996, that will do that business. So what do? I have to make 100,000 naira available for that business. And there are a lot of things that have gone through that business. That business has metamorphosized into a great business now that we produce 45,000 liters of vegetable oil per day. And the company worth over 1.5 billion naira. What we started with 100,000 naira in 1996. So we became partner. Thank God I have partner, but I know it's not easy to get good partner. But with God can easily help you and lead you to the right person. I know some people have been duped while trying to form partnership, but it's very important that you don't just have to eat alone. If you eat alone, you die alone. So if you eat alone, when the problem comes, you carry the problem alone. It's very, very important that we make use of partnership. Share your ideas, bring it up. Then you are bringing your sweat equity, and somebody will bring the capital for you to fund it, and you will get the benefits, reap the benefits and the reward together. The third one is loan and credit facilities. This is where many people are not willing to use loan. People I've gone to a place and I told them they are loan available. Somebody say, how can I borrow money to do business? And I told him that, oh, you are not destined to be rich, to be wealthy. That's why you're saying that kind of thing. I advise people to use all available credit facilities within their disposal. If you work in a place and there's cooperative society, they will give you a little interest. Use them to build up capital to fund your dream. I use the cooperative a lot when I was working. They give us a 5% interest on the loan we take from them. I was taking loan from my cooperative and even investing in investment houses and banks. And are giving me 12%. I'll take it for 5%. And I will go and invest it for 12%. I'm getting extra 7% gain on that. So I developed a habit of taking long-term loan from my cooperative every 9 months. And I know what I made from that. And I always tell people too, if your company gives you loan, take it. It's more difficult for them to sack you if you have more loan than you can carry, than your terminal benefit can carry. So take all the available loans because company gives some soft loans and they give low interest subsidized loans. Take them and you will use them. When you ask people how they manage the areas of the business, most of them will tell you that they borrowed money. Learn how to use people's money to make your own money. I guess you will be relieved to find out that if you want to start your business and you fund it, majority of it with loan, and it is going to be a good thing for you. Go for the loans that has no penalty for early payment. The bottom line is that when you use the loan wisely, it can be valuable tool in funding your own dream. It's very important. So let's learn how to use it. Obtain the loan and make the payments on time. That will give you a good standard and improve your credit rating. When that business we started, when we wanted to build the first crushing plant, we went to Bank of Industry. We took loan. But one thing is that my partner don't like borrowing money. We borrowed money, and within 4 years, instead of 6 years, he paid off the money. And he now went and declared profit. By the time they finished taxing the profit, it amounted to 42.5% of the profit. They now went to on tax. And he was surprised. So he has to change his system. I've been able to teach him now that it's better to use loan rather than using your own money. Instead of using the loan of 10% or 9% and invest your money in the money in other things to get like 12, 14, 15%. Why pay off the loan? It's important that we take loan. There are a lot of loan opportunity available. The Bank of Industry gives loan. We have been getting it. Some people are going to say it's not easy to get loan. I tell you, it's very easy to get loans. But most banks don't finance you to start a business. They finance you to grow the business. That's what they do. We have accessed loan from Bank of Industry, and there are various forms of these short, small and medium scale enterprise loans available. Federal government was giving out about 500,000 naira loan for these COVID people. That's post-COVID. And then right now, they are giving another one, 2 million to 5 million. I know I've helped more than, in my area, I've helped more than 50 people access this loan. They are available. And there are companies who can help you access this loan. I have companies that are available that are used to get people this loan. All these through this commercial bank, there's federal government intervention loans, all available there for you to use. But many people are not using them. Many people are not using them. They are there. And there are other opportunities. Liberal, they do overseas funding for African business, liberal investments. And I've been working with them and linking people with them, and they'll be financing their business. And there's one other company, OView Properties. OView Properties, they do investment financing, and they link up with companies in US to invest your money, to get more money to fund your dreams. So there are all these opportunities. If you contact me, I can give you their contact. Then the other one is ask for help from families. Is there anyone in your life who is willing to invest in you? Many people, especially parents, are willing to help us with our formal education. But when it comes to for us to ask those people if they can help us fund business, we feel shy. How many of you here with your parents come to, will your child come to for help, and you will say, no, we won't help? But we know it, we all help. So you have to use your social network, use your social investment as connection to help get that. Related to that is what I will call the number 5, ask for help or favors from others. So if you are looking for a way to get money to fund your dream, now it is time to ask yourself, does anyone owe you any money? If anyone owes you money or a favor, it is time to ask them. So you need to go to them. Have you ever gone above and beyond to help your friends, family, or anybody? Or would they be willing to help you at this time? They are. But the only thing is that we don't ask. Reciprocity is a powerful tool. If you have helped someone in the past, there's every likelihood that when you go to them, they will help you. I'll give you an example. Our factory got burned in 2020. Our crushing plant got burned. And the estimate to repair it was 140 million. The insurance delay, they didn't even pay us. They paid us 49 million after 1 year. All we need to do is call some of our friends. Hey, we are in need. We are in need of money to get this factory back. To God, I got a lot of responses from them. The other one is you raise money through shares because there's no much time to talk more about it. Raise money through shares. You can give out shares. You can do crowdfunding and so on and so forth. But the last one I want to talk is sell your stuff. Most of us have too much stuff. Why not sell the crap you don't need anymore? Some people, when they are looking for ways, they need to look at what do they have they need to sell. That's why I say you need to sell your past to fund your future. For example, you can sell your wedding dress. You don't need it anymore. You can sell even your diamond engagement ring that worth thousands, some of them worth millions. You have already been married. You are not going to be engaged again with that same ring. So you need to sell those things. Look around you. There are stuff you no longer need so that you will sell them and fund your future. Everybody has stuff they don't need. So if selling your stuff helps you fund your dream, do it. Let me conclude this way because of time. I believe motivated people find the money. Persistence moves more mountains than talent or genius. If you have a dream, do not give up just because you cannot find the money. Be resourceful, remain determined, go the distance. Whatever you lack in genius, talent, and finances, you can make it up with a persistence. So sometimes you have to treat yourself as well as you treat others. You cannot be an Olympian without being an athlete. The onus is on you to get extremely creative about raising money. If you want it so bad, I believe you will figure it out the right way and do it. Thank you. I will stop here because of time.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, my notes is full. My notes is full. And I do have questions, but of course, we'll take it in the question segment. Just a few highlights from what you shared. I heard you when you said, sell your past to fund your future. That's a big one, a very big one. And I'm beginning to think of, okay, I think I need to check my house and start looking out into my past so I can sell them off, including my engagement gown or the engagement native outfits and all. Thank you so much, sir. It's really interesting listening to you. We're going to take our next speaker. And I feel quite, elated introducing her to us, this evening. I don't think I'm fit to say she was my colleague, a very senior colleague, you know. I'm someone I respect so much, someone I regard. This is Mrs. Damilola Hassan. She's currently the managing director of Meristem Trustees. She's a chartered stockbroker, a very experienced investment advisor, and a wealth manager. She strongly believes in hand-holding people alongside a wealth creation journey. There's so much to share about her, but I'm sure she'll be happy to use that time to impact us with knowledge than have me speak so much about her. I would hand this over to Mrs. Damilola Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me, Faith, and I welcome everyone again to this webinar this evening. Mr. Dave Nyere, why did you look into my notes? Now, thank you very much, sir, for in 20 minutes, you did justice, to finding money to fulfill our dreams. I just kept on nodding, and those are things that I had noted. And I told myself, why will Faith set me up and allow you to speak before me?
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's a privilege sharing this platform with you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing from your wealth of knowledge. I will just deep dive right away into speaking into a bit of the technical side to some of those things that Mr. David had spoken to earlier. He started out by speaking to savings, by speaking to the fact that you need to invest. And then, of course, there are other things that we can do, to fund our dreams. But the question I'm putting before you today is, do you have the end-to-end picture? of what it is that you want to achieve with your finances. So it's not enough to raise the money. Some of us may have fantastic relationships and we're able to raise this money, but do you have what it takes to ensure that the money you put into your business keeps coming back? The power of giving back keeps coming back such that you don't always have to run to people, to always fund, because they will never be there always. You have to find your foot. So just broadly speaking, we need to understand the 3 stages of money. There's the stage of growing money, and whatever stage in life you find yourself, you would know what is important to you at that point in time. There are 3 stages to money. There's a growth stage. So I need money to fund my dreams. I need money to take care of my expenses. I need money to do this. There are obligations and all of that. How are you growing your capacity to earn money? How are you growing your base to ensure that the money you have keeps growing to meet your obligations? Beyond meeting your obligations, you need to grow your finances such that you can plow into your future. We have heard earlier today about how if you do not take from your past to put into your future, there will be nothing to meet when you get to that future. So the whole gamut of growing money speaks to your capacity to earn more, your capacity to earn at multiple levels, your capacity to ensure that whatever you have keeps coming back, to you. I'm talking of 3 stages of money. The next stage is the preservation. So you have accumulated money, or you are in the process of accumulating. On and on, you are gathering and you are putting together. But if you do not carefully manage this money, if you are not conscious of the need to preserve the money that you've accumulated, you can lose what you have gathered. Be it that you're running a business, if you have investors putting in money into your business, or you have taken a loan, or you have taken from your savings, from your investment to put into a business. If you do not guard that business, if you do not hedge your risk in that business, you will lose the money. So preserving money is a very, very important thing that we should have an understanding of. Again, I don't want to lose you. I've spoken to growth, capacity to grow the money that we have, preserving the money. A simple example, if you put in money into a business and you do not understand the risk that business faces, you do not. So let's give an example. You are in a business that is cyclical. Maybe you supply materials to schools, primary and secondary schools. If you are in that sort of business, you need to understand the risk that you face. What risk do you face running this business? Number one, if anything goes wrong with the school calendar, just like we had disruptions during COVID, then your business is disrupted. Have you hedged that risk? What are you doing to ensure that, because you are exposed to this industry, if there are situations that are unpleasant to this industry, it does not boomerang, it does not have its effect on you, because you have identified the risk and you have hedged. Hedging just simply means you have put measures in place, to protect yourself such that you are not, you don't lose all of your investments. Then the third stage of money is ultimately the transfer of your money. And that is the part that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but you must have an understanding of what it entails. And as an individual or as a business person, it's important that you have the big picture in mind. You are establishing a business. Why are you establishing this business? Do you have plans for this business to outlive you, or you are just trying to solve your immediate needs of, I just need to make money? Are you trying to solve a problem? Do you see that business growing beyond this your generation to the next? Do you see it as a legacy that you want to leave behind? If that is so, then from the get-go, you have to approach that business with a long-term perspective of, this business is going to outlive me. I need to put everything in place. I need to ensure that I put the right structure, the right processes in place, so that at a point in time, I am either able to sell this business, to move on to other things, or I'm able to, expand and bring in other investors, so that at the point to retire, I'm not struggling with failing to transcend into the second and third generation is alarming. So many businesses are failing in that regard. You may be thinking, Damilola, I'm just starting up. Why are you speaking to succession and legacy now? It's important that we are clear with our objectives. I'm not saying you have to do certain things now, but do you have that roadmap? Do you have that clear picture? Now, let me deep dive again into, we've spoken to the growth, the preservation, and the transfer. Of course, the transfer bit is not just about if you have a business. As an individual, how are you investing? How are you holding the assets that you have in such a manner that it can ultimately pass on to your loved ones without any hassles? Many times people buy assets, people make investments, and they are thinking short term. You are buying investments and you are buying along with your spouse, and the title on the asset is Mr. and Mrs. John Doe. And you are the guy, your wife's name is Elizabeth, for example, and then there's no Elizabeth on that title document. And then Madam Elizabeth, in her mind, thinks that she's a co-owner to that asset. No. So it's important that we have the right education, that we are knowledgeable about some of the things that we do, so that we don't unduly expose ourselves. Now, we've talked about saving investment as a primary source of funding our goals. How can I make this happen? You're probably asking yourself, how do I know what to invest in? How do I know how to set aside? Or you are thinking, this money is small. It won't amount to much if what I can put together, it's not really anything significant anyway. It's not even enough for me to spend. So why are you talking about investing it? I want us to understand this. I'm a Christian, and the Bible speaks in John 12:24 about, except a corn of wheat falls into the ground and it dies, it will abide alone. If you do not consciously take out of what you have now and actively invest with an understanding of what you're investing in, there's absolutely no way for your money to multiply. And I want to ask us now, you can put your responses in the chat room. Can you tell me the different ways that money can be multiplied? I want to put it to you that there's absolutely none of the options that you would give me that is not an investment. So please, can you begin to type, what are the different ways that money can be multiplied? What comes to your mind? Just type in the chat. Let's see what your ideas are about how money can be multiplied. The bottom line is this: your money must actively multiply so that it can sort out your immediate needs, your future needs, and you can have something to fall back on at the point when you're retiring. Yes, I can see the responses are coming. Please keep them for me. Investments in real estate, whatever thing, anything that comes to mind when it comes to how can this money increase. So just pick a number, pick 1 million naira. How can 1 million naira become 2 million naira? And whatever it is that you are going to think of is an investment. So perhaps you are thinking, okay, yes, I'm seeing examples, selling, buying and selling, trading, investing in shares, investing in whatever it is that you are putting money in that has the capacity to bring returns to you is what is helping you to multiply your money. And you must consciously understand that, because even as a business person, when you put money into your business, you will want, it's a cycle. You put in money into the business as an investment, the business grows, and then the business does what? The business yields income out of the proceeds of what you have deposited in that business. By the time that business is yielding, you can see that the cycle is complete. You put in money, the business has grown, and then you have income that the business is generating, what are you doing to that thing that is coming out of that business? Are you putting it back into the business so that the cycle continues? Are you putting it back in such a way that you are diversifying? So you know what I mentioned earlier about, when I was speaking to preservation. When you're investing, you need to understand these basic things. Let me quickly mention. Number one is you need to understand the balance between risk and returns when you're investing. There's a lot to talk about on this, but I'm just going to try to touch a few things here and there. Understanding risk and returns in investment. What are the chances of me getting my money back? What are the chances of my money coming back intact? What are the chances of me losing my money? What are the chances of, you have to understand that whenever you hear, so for some of us, we're under a lot of pressure. We think that we don't have enough to set aside, or we think that we are starting late, and that puts pressure on you. You think I still don't have much, so I need this money to grow quickly. And it is for that money to grow quickly that will expose you to Ponzi schemes. Someone approaches you to say, you know what, 100,000 setting as bonds or mutual funds, give me, I'll give 5% a month. 5% per month is what in a 60% in a year. Dear brothers and sisters, we hear 60% returns in a year. You should ask and ask and ask, what exactly are you going to be doing with this money? Because if it sounds too good to be true, then it is actually too good to be true. The higher the risk you expose yourself to, the higher the returns, right? So now let's flip it. Let's assume that you are not aware of the risk, but you are aware of the returns. The higher the returns supposed to use this, that the return involved getting that high return is high. Let me repeat myself. At every point in time when you hear of a high return, and maybe you want me to break it down, you're saying, what exactly do you mean by high returns? I'm saying returns that are typically above the standard average market returns. So if you Google and you check for what's the average return on investment, average return on fixed deposit, average return on bonds, you would have an idea of the average return. Because gauge it with the information, have an idea of what the average return is. The moment you are hearing of returns that are far in excess of the average market returns, then you must understand that there's an undue exposure to risk that you are carrying. So am I saying don't invest in that? Depending then on your risk appetite. So let me jump again back to the types of investments. There are traditional investments that we can put money in. As we are working, we have a 9 to 5, and in funding our dream, we have a time frame that that you've given yourself, to move into your own business. You probably have a 3-year plan, 5-year plan, or whatever it is. You need to consciously now then set aside, but you don't just leave it to save. When you try to save money, there's a limit to how it can go. You must invest. So what are the traditional methods of investing? You can invest in shares. You can invest in simple, what we call fixed income instruments, such as mutual funds, bonds. Fixed income meaning that if you put in your money, there's a certain degree of income that you can expect periodically from that investment you have made. Some of us are exposed to some of this, some of us don't have much understanding, but just understand this. There are investments that you make that the returns are not as significant, but the risks are very low. So when you're investing in federal government bonds, savings bonds, you're investing in an asset management company puts monies together and then you invest in certain instruments so that you can get returns. So those are typically safe, investments for you. And these investments have a way of compounding over time. So if you have a 3-year plan and you're setting aside 100,000 naira monthly or 50,000, whatever it is, you can actually plan knowing that, okay, by the end of 3 years, if this money gives me a return of 15% per annum, and I'm able to set aside, that's 1.2 million if it's 100,000 per month. If I earn a flat 15% per annum on I said 100,000 on 1.2 million, what does that give me at the end of year one? If I put all of that plus the interest and compound that to put another 15%, what does that give me? So that by the end of the 3rd year, you have an idea of the time when you approach someone to say, this is a business, this is the idea, they would typically ask you, what do you have? It's often very difficult for someone to part with their own hard-earned money if you cannot demonstrate that you have skin in the game. So try to build an investment plan ahead of, before seeking other ways to attract funds for your business. There's so much to talk about, but let me round up saying this. The key things that you should understand in investment. You must first what your risk appetite is. I've spoken to that. I want you to capture this summary. Understand what your risk appetite is. Am I in a situation where I can take a lot of risk, or am I in a situation where I can't take so much risk? The level of risk you are able to take is what determines the investments that you put your money into. There's a whole lot of conversation we can have. I can always speak that question and answer time. You also need to understand liquidity needs. So money that I want to invest, how soon? The kind of investments you will put your money in if you need it in 6 months' time, in 1 year's time, is very different from the investments you put your money in if you need it 2-3 years from now. So understand your risk appetite, understand your liquidity needs, understand your capacity. What is your earning? How much am I earning? What percentage of this can I actually put aside for investing? You don't want to be cash trapped. You don't want a situation where, because aggressive with growing your investment, by exposing yourself and investing or saving much more than you can afford to, and then you find yourself somewhere you don't have cash when you need it. Also, you also need to understand the liquidity nature of the investment that you're putting your money in. Am I investing in something that when I need my money, I can quickly take it? The investment in a mutual fund where within 30 days you can call back your money is a lot different from investing in shares or investing in real estate. For a real estate, you can't, if you need money back, you can't quickly go to the market and say, okay, flip this property, I'll quickly get my money. Neither can you say, okay, no, I just need 10% of the money I've invested, so let me sell the roof or the door of that real estate. So we need to have all of this understanding as we make investment decisions. I round up with this favorite quote of mine. It's a Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a bamboo tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. So what you have heard, the mistakes you've made, the inertia you have demonstrated, what are you doing after this call? Thank you.
Wow. That's so powerful. What are you going to do after this call? That's a question to every one of us, I mean, including myself, and I'm already asking myself, what am I going to do after this call? Thank you so much, Ma. So much you have shared. And I mean, I took a lot of notes, understanding my risk appetite, my need for liquidity. I mean, very excellent delivery, Ma. And I'm even already seeing the comments in the chat room. You have to be very careful of the get-rich-quick syndrome, I mean, there's just a lot you have shared, a lot. And I could tell there's a lot of practical experience in it as well. there are questions. I believe there are questions, and it's just that we have a short time to take those questions. While we are waiting for those that will share their questions in the okay. So there is already a question here. Do I have a list of them? But let's just start with this. Considering the rate of inflation in Nigeria, for example, how can we grow wealth with the average returns on mutual funds in Naira, Ma? So I believe that is to you, Mr. Milola. How do you grow your investments in spite of the inflation rates and the low returns of investment?
Yeah. I would have been shocked if I didn't get this question. It's a question that will always come forward.
It was on my notes as well.
The gap is significant now. Inflation is about 21, 22% now, and you have the average mutual fund between 12 to 15%. So net, you are not fully hedged. But the things start from somewhere. So I would rather, if you don't have investments at all, I would rather you start with that mutual fund. You are earning 12%, you are earning 13% on the average. Start with that. As you grow that base, when you're building a house, there's a foundation. No matter how much or how, no matter how grand the building, no matter how grand the structure is, you must start from a foundation. So build that base, build that foundation of a steady, stable investment, minimal risk. That's why a lot of investment goes into building the foundation of building the foundation in construction work, because it's what is going to hold the rest. So build a strong base of safe investment. I also advise that you can still effectively hedge. You have to now then diversify. So when you have built a steady foundation, you have steady investment that you are making in mutual funds, maybe on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and you have an idea of what you want to achieve, right? So you know where you are at some point. Okay, I think I have 50% of what I would want as savings. I've invested it. Then you are asking yourself, what else can I divert into? So from that base, you are now then looking at diversifying. Okay, from this, can I do 20% into this sort of investment? Maybe you are investing in shares. Investment in shares is technical, but it is one way, to hedge inflation. So for some of us who in 2021 December, maybe bought MTN shares. MTN came to the market and issued initial public offer initial public offering, and they sold at 190 naira. And no, it was selling at 190 naira. The public offer was 169 naira. It was issued. As we speak, MTN is about 240 naira in the market. Look at that growth in between December 2021 and now. So investment in shares, but I don't advise that with the little that you have set aside. The first thing to do is invest in shares. Build that foundation, then you can do other things. You can invest in other people's business. You can find quick ways to turn around more. What can I buy and sell? What can I trade on? But knowing that those have a higher level of risk, if anything goes wrong, you can lose all your money. Start with building a fund, even if the returns are not significant, but create a safety net for yourself and explore with other options along. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Faith. I just want to throw a word on that from my experience in being a board of investment one financial services. What Madam said is very good. Like, you, first of all, get evaluated to know your risk appetite, if you're low risk, medium risk, or high risk. When there is recession, does not mean there's no money. It's even during recession that people make more money. Like I said, money is problem solved. Like she said, if you have a low risk, first of all, start with a mutual fund. If you know you have high risk, like some of us do, you can invest in those kind of companies like buying the shares. Shares can throw you up, it can throw you down. It depending on what the company achieve at the end of the year or or how their growth pattern is. But like she said, you have to find out, are they in the companies, are they in the growth, the early stage, the growth stage, and the maturity stage to be able to know how to invest. There are opportunities to invest despite the year-on-year inflation rising to 21 to 22. In 2021, it was 16 point something. So if you have invested now with the increase with the MRI that was determined by the monetary policy, you can get some what do you call it, a savings deposit. You can get between 12 and 15%. So it's important. There are avenues to invest, but be careful not to invest in all those kind of companies that you cannot verify their background. You cannot verify who they are. There are people there out there to swindle you the hard-earned money. You have to be very careful and make sure you do due diligence on the companies before you can invest on them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. There are already a couple of questions, though we are really pressed for time. There's one question here for you, Doctor. I was going to say Dr. Dave. So I think that actually fits. How do you front load your plans? You spoke about having plans and front loading your plan. How do you front load your plan?
Okay, yeah, let me just talk about it. I think she mentioned when you are talking about your dream, you have your plan. You have to do all the analysis about the plan. I say front load your plans financially. Most people do have dreams, they have plans, but they don't talk about they don't talk about the financial aspect of it. Maybe they will just do their plan. I have plans to start business. When they come to me, I ask them, what kind of business do you want to start? What do you think will be your monthly expenses or yearly expenses? What will be your monthly income or yearly income? They don't have idea of that. Then I'll tell the person you have not started. Because you can't just tell me you want to start a business. You have an idea of the business you want to do. You have done your feasibility study, but there's no financial plan. You must, first of all, put your financial plan there. That will enable us to evaluate whether that business you are entering into, is it a viable business? Is it a business that is going to pay in the long run or in the medium term or in the short term? That's what I mean, that you have to upload it financially to make sure that the business you are entering is something that will bring some good finances. And you have to put in that your plan the sources of funds to start that business. That's what I mean by front loading them. Thank you. Thank you, Faith.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I was struggling to get the mic out. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So so that your plans don't end up being a daydream. So one has to be very practical in terms of where is the money going to come from? How is it going to become reality? Thank you so much, sir. I heard that. There was someone's hand that was up. We only have 2 minutes to end this call, but I guess maybe the hand is down now. But I think there is another question in the room. Trying to see if I could get a question out. Okay. I'm trying to bring up the question shortly.
I'm trying to
say. Okay, go ahead.
I'm looking out for questions. Looking out for questions to see if I can reply. I know we are.
Yeah.
But I think I've replied one or two questions that I can see. Yes.
Buki Babalola's hand is up. Buki Babalola, your hand is up.
Okay. Do you want to take your question, Buki Babalola? Thank you, ma'am. I see your response. Thank you so much.
So hi, thank you so much for that very educative session. I love the fact that both speakers, taught us practical approaches. It's easy for us to find many motivational speakers coming in to say, oh, invest money, save money, but they don't teach us how to go about doing those. But the two speakers have done wonderfully well. So my question is to Mr. David Nyere. You did mention that if you don't have the capacity of or you're not thinking towards taking a loan to fund your business, which is one of the ways you mentioned into, building a business and making more money, then you're not ready to start. So I'm really curious because I'm one of those few people who hates loans. I totally cannot stand taking loans because I would rather work with what I have. So I think it takes a lot of courage to be able to take loans, but I don't think I'm going to ever get to that level. I'm not going to lie. So what do you have to say to people like me? Is there any hope for us if we don't take loans?
All right. But maybe I need to say it well if I didn't say it right. I didn't say you cannot start a business if you don't take loan. I say you take loan, you use people's money to grow your business. You can start with your savings, but you might not be able to grow. You might not be able to compete with others if you don't get money to expand the business. I gave you an example that we started the business with 100,000 naira, and it has grown to 1 billion, 1.5 billion naira right now. But we took loan to support it. My partner doesn't like loan, but now he has seen what loan can do. We took $1 million loan from BOI, Bank of Industry, to build the vegetable oil refinery. You need to come. We can tell you. You can talk to me later. We'll tell you we'll go through. I think it's phobia. Some people have that phobia. They don't want to take loan. I don't want to be a debtor. America is a debtor. Nigeria is a debtor. Every other company, name them. They are all debtors. They use people's money. It's not their money to grow the business. But you can start business with your money, but you need loan or other people's money to grow that business. That's what I'm saying. There's hope for you who don't like loan. But with time,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. That makes two of us, because I actually have a question here while I was going to ask around the concept of being debt-free. A lot of motivational speakers, even financial experts, right, get to advise us to be debt-free. But I guess it's a message to different categories of people. I'm not an expert in this, but I believe that from this conversation we had this evening, there are various groups of people out there that these messages are meant for. If you're an entrepreneur, you really have got to have the courage, right, to take loans if you really are going to expand your business. But I think it simply means that you'd have done your homework, you'd have done your due diligence, and like Sir Dave said earlier on, that you will first have to use your money to build that business. It would have grown to a level that people can then have confidence in that business before they can come to invest in it, either by debt or by equity, pretty much. We're actually really over the time now.
Just a minute. I know you're over the time, man.
Okay,
Let me
sir.
say here, motivational speaker talking. When they talk about being debt-free, they did not say that your business should be debt-free. You should not borrow money and be using it to feed yourself, using it to buy clothes, buy trinket, and all those things. No. But because the bank borrows you money, they have already even assessed you. You know you need security. You need securities. You have some assets that they will value to make sure that you'll be able to pay that loan. So they need to check your book. They need to check your liability and your assets before they borrow money. We don't want to enter. I don't want to enter into those technical details. So what the motivational speaker says is that pay off your debt. You don't be having credit card debt because you are using it to eat food, using it to buy clothes, using it to buy this. But they will not tell you not to borrow money to do business. Thank you.
Very solid, sir. And I really get you perfectly. Thank you so much. So we can actually take loans to fund our dreams, our investment, rather than take loans to fund your expenses. It's the same message you're preaching to the Nigerian government. That's a different conversation from here. Don't take loans to fund consumption. Rather, you can take loans to fund your investment or fund your enterprise. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ma, for your time this evening. We've had a very engaging and impactful conversation. I know that there are still many questions. I'd like to let you know that we have this call already linked and live on YouTube. So you can take your comments to that place and we will still respond to those comments. Our speakers are available to take those, more questions you have, and a lot of other people can also learn from it. Thank you everyone for showing up. This is just a step into your future, and you've done the right thing. And the next thing would be for us to take these learnings into practical, lifestyle. Save, set money aside. Don't wait for when it is easy to do it. And of course, leverage support of people, leverage relationships to build your investment, to build your savings. All up onto the desired future that you have in your mind. Thank you everyone for showing up, and have a great evening. God bless you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Faith, and thank you everyone for
Enjoy
attending.
the rest of your evening. Bye.
Thank you, Damilola. That's nice. Great listening to you.
Thank you. Yes, same here, sir. Thank you.